What up, y'all? Nushi in the building.
And Roushi.
And this is the Mama We Made It podcast. We have a glorious episode for y'all
that
today.
cough is going to be spectacular.
Y'all already know the cough. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know what the fuck the cough is. And I'm not quitting yet. Okay? Thank y'all.
Tell them about the episode, Noosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Quentin Thrash in the building. Stayfly Thrash. Incredible Southern gentleman going through his story of athletics to really finding the beauties in his hustles.
Ooh.
You know, somebody that's extremely naturally gifted, and you know that can be seen as a gift in and of itself. But there are times where natural talent alone is a curse, whether it's a curse to the psyche or a curse to just life in and of itself. But as with every story in this podcast, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And Rashi, I think we should just let Thrash take us through this story. What do you think?
Take him, Thrash.
Let's go.
Mama,
we made it. Ba, 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 ba. What it do, though? Hey, and we are here. Sans a minor ambiance. Look, at the end of the day, Thrash, we still got the Polaroids for you. You know what I'm saying?
I know this one caught my eye right here.
Yep.
Who these is?
So one of those girls works at Doheny Room.
Interesting.
And then the other one is a friend of this whole squad's over here.
Interesting.
They're local. I'm sure your paths will run across them, or
I never recognize them in person. I'd be gonna walk right past them and then notice them.
You know what I mean? if you don't realize, folks, Thrash is messing with the Polaroids that we have on the Mama We Made It table.
They got some beautiful women out here. That's gonna distract the shit out of me.
Well, hey, I'm just glad your sensories are just like popping right now. You know what I mean? We'll just make that into a scenario that works for us.
You dig.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got my brother Quentin Thrash in the building. Make some motherfucking noise.
Thrash in the building. That's the studio audience.
Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, it's a damn pleasure. It's a damn pleasure. It's an incredible thing to see somebody, evolve. And it's wild to even think about, like, I feel like, our paths crossed a few years ago. And, naturally there's just evolution and growth in one's being and one's, embodiment of what they're doing. And you being such a cat that has multiple facets. And it was even more, I guess, mind-blowing to kind of see where it all started for you. We had lunch, and like it really opened my eyes to the baseline of and the foundation of your being and your essence. And it's an honor to have your complete journey rocked and told with us on the Mama We Made It podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me, bro, because it's a lot of stuff, especially when a cat like myself who got so many layers, dog. It's like I be doing a lot of different interviews and podcasts and stuff, and people be asking me the same questions over and over and over and shit. And it's like, bro, I've been talking about the same shit for years, but I done elevated past that, and you know what I'm saying? It's stuff that in my life that I ain't never had a chance to touch on in interviews, you know what I mean? So that's why I feel good about, you know what I'm saying, y'all having me on here, because I feel like y'all kind of understand, like, there's more to, you know what I'm saying, where somebody comes from.
Absolutely.
What, you know what I'm saying, what is put into all this shit to get, you know what I'm saying, to be who I am right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, especially in Los Angeles, it kind of gets, we get lost in the function of what all of us are doing, right? Like, it's one of those, like, what do you bring to the table? What have you done for me lately scenarios, right? When in reality, as human beings, everything that happens to us, everything that we go through, every kind of community or culture that we dabble in really makes us who we are in the present moment.
Hell yeah.
And it's one of those things where necessarily it doesn't need to be a career move, or it doesn't necessarily need to be something that is tangible. Sometimes the intangible things really take precedence in formulating our characters and our beings in and of themselves.
Yeah. I mean, perfect example, bro. Like, a lot of people don't know that I used to be a college athlete. Like, I went to college on a full scholarship, but I got kicked out. I got kicked out of school my sophomore year. But honestly, I feel like me getting kicked out of college made me who I am today. I feel like if I'd have stayed in school and graduated with a degree and all that shit, I wouldn't be doing what the fuck I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have experienced none of the shit that I've been going through. You did? So
right.
That shit, I'm saying exactly what you're saying is exactly what I'm all about.
Let's take it all the way back. Where were you born? Where did you grow up at?
I was born in a small town called Hawkinsville, Georgia. I gotta like enunciate when I say that shit.
Yeah.
I'm country's the motherfucker. It's called Hawkinsville, Georgia.
Hawkinsville, Georgia.
Yeah.
Were you there your whole childhood?
No, so I was only there for like a few years when I was like first born. My mom lived there, but then I ended up moving with my daddy. You know what I mean? So I lived with my daddy the majority of the time, but I was still back and forth because like my whole family from Georgia, so I wasn't never far. You know what I mean? So I'd be like 30 minutes. I lived like 30 minutes away the majority of my life, but I was always back and forth there. So even everybody in Hawkinsville, even though I never actually like went to school there, everybody still consider me. They know like Quentin, that nigga from Hawkinsville, because I'm still always there every other weekend, whatever. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like living with Pops?
With my daddy, it's different because like I said, I was a big athlete. Like as a kid, that's all I knew was being an athlete.
Sports.
You know what I mean? Sports. That's all it was. Basketball, football, running track.
Everything.
Yeah. So that's just how it is growing up in the hood. That's just what you do. But my daddy wasn't an athlete. You know what I'm saying? My dad, he like working on cars and stuff like that. You did. So that ain't nothing that I ever like attracted to. So it's like, I feel like on that level, me and my daddy never really connected. It was just kind of like him trying to drill shit in my head to not make me be a fuck up later on in life. You know what I mean? So when I ended up growing up to be an adult, we ended up like sitting down having a conversation, and he was telling me that as a kid, he was so hard on me because I never had a passion for anything because everything came too easy for me. Because he was like, all I did was play sports, and like sports are just easy as fuck to me. Like I didn't have to go hard, and I wasn't at home doing drills and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like I was just a natural athlete, and I ended up getting a full scholarship. I only played in 4 football games in high school. Like, I was injured the majority of my, and I still got a full scholarship. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, sports is just easy to me.
Were you a big kid growing up? Or
no, I always been skinny. I always been skinny as hell. Me and him never, like, saw eye to eye on that type of stuff. And then even when I started getting into the fashion stuff, like, I was always ironing my clothes every night and cleaning my tennis shoes every night and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And, like, he just didn't understand it. You know what I mean? He thought I cared more about how I dressed and, like, how I was performing in school and shit. So he'd do stuff like, I remember I got in trouble one time, and I guess I let my grades slip. And he used to make me wear church clothes to school. Like, I couldn't wear regular clothes no more. I had to wear church clothes to school because he thought, like, I cared too much about the way I dressed. So I guess he was taking that creativity away from me.
Oh, wow.
But really, it just turned me up even more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it turned me up even more. So, like...
You were like, how am I going to make these church clothes look fly as hell?
Exactly. So I was, like, sneaking Air Force Ones in my book bag to school and shit. So I got on church clothes with fucking Air Force Ones and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, like... I was still gonna be sauced up regardless. So, yeah.
What was it that kind of drew you? So naturally, sports comes easy for you, right? And I wanted to ask you, in those types of areas, you know, when you say like in the hood and like sports, it's kind of synonymous because I feel like in these types of areas, there's very few things that allow the kids and the children in those areas to be able to see as possibilities for getting out.
Yeah.
Right. And in those types of communities, it's really sports and music. Even today, if we think about it, right? Like we have all these things of like doctors, lawyers, this, that, and the other. But I feel like, you know, there's certain communities that really have it drilled down to where it's either entertainment or being an athlete. Was that something that was like prevalent amongst, I guess, your area and just your thought process of like, look, like this is going to get me out?
Yeah, no, exactly, bro. Like, that's all it was. That's all I ever seen because, like, honestly, another thing about me, bro, is, like, I never even applied to a college. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just living in high school, you know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying, just ended up getting that scholarship, went to college, majoring in some shit that to this day, I still don't really know what the fuck that shit meant. You know what I mean? Like, I was one of them kids. It didn't really hit me, dog, till I started working in the barbershop, like, when I got my barber's license and stuff. And I was an adult and I could think for myself and I ain't have people telling me what to do every day, you know what I mean? And I just started thinking different. I just started thinking bigger, and I was like, the stuff I was into and the stuff I was watching and the places I was able to travel once I started living on my own and not in my parents' house. Like, that's the kind of shit that started like opening my fucking mind up. And I just like, I don't know. It's like I never really had anybody in my corner to show me, hey, bro, you could be doing this, or you can be a creative, you could be an artist. You don't have to just be an athlete. You know what I mean? I never really had nobody in my corner like that. So it was all like genuinely just shit that I picked up, you know what I'm saying, from my surroundings and shit.
Absolutely.
What about your friends growing up? Same thing, were they all athletes?
Yeah, everybody was all athletes, man. Everybody.
So you didn't have a creative outlet as a kid either?
No. Like my stepbrother used to draw, so you know what I'm saying, I used to draw as well. But that's really as far as it went. You know what I mean? Like I never thought about being a designer, or I used to draw like every pair of like dope like tennis shoes, like sneakers and stuff. I had a notepad in high school that I used to draw them. And I used to sketch them. I sketch, like, let's say it was Air Force One, for example. I sketched the Air Force One. I go home with my dad's on scanner and I scan it, and I can make copies of that motherfucker. And I literally be at school and I have a notebook full of Air Force Ones, and I just be coloring them all different kind of colorways and freaking them and doing all kind of shit like that.
Wow.
And it's like, that was just
awesome.
me being, this was before all the people doing the custom, you know what I'm saying, Air Force One and the custom J's and shit. This is just me, like, I want to draw some shit that I think that'd be
finding
dope.
an outlet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like nobody like taught me that shit. It was just like genuine shit that I was doing.
It was like an escape, if you will.
Yeah. And it's like even with that, it's like it didn't mean that much to me, because like even once that notepad was done, I literally just threw it away. You know what I mean? Like it was like this. It was just
throw it away.
Yeah. Like, as soon as that notepad was full, I just threw it away. Like, because I know I can do it again. You know what I mean? And I think that goes back to what my dad was saying. Like, I never really had a passion for nothing. Like, it was nothing that I was like, oh my God, I gotta be doing this. No, you can't take this away from me. Like, I just lived. You know what I mean? I was just a kid, man.
Absolutely. Do you think that, because you spoke about, okay, let's go here. In high school, you played 4 football games total and got a full scholarship.
Yeah.
Right? Was it one of those things where you're like, okay, if I'm going to get a scholarship, I'm just going to go?
So this is how it all happened. So my senior year, I broke my collarbone. I broke my collarbone my senior year in the second game of the season. I was out the whole season. The last game of the year, which is like the senior night when they like recognize all the seniors and shit.
Yeah.
And my basketball season was coming up, and like they had cleared me to play in the football game, but it was like, bro, you're not playing. We got basketball season coming up. The football season done. It's trash, whatever. I was like, bro, it's my senior night. Like, let me play last game. So my basketball coach was like, all right, if the coach lets you play, he lets you play or whatever. Because I ain't practiced all season. So literally, they put me in for one play out of the whole game. They put me in for one play. I had a 35-yard dive and catch in the end zone. They was like, bro, what the fuck? And I ain't practiced all season since the second game of the season, bro. So that helped me get my scholarship. So I still ended up, I signed my football scholarship during like basketball season. So I never even gave basketball a chance for me to even like get a scholarship in basketball. You know what I mean? Like,
wild.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose to do that? Was it just because you had the opportunity right there and just jump
I
on it?
had the opportunity, and I didn't have any other ideas. Like I didn't even think about getting a scholarship. You know what I mean? That wasn't even a thing I was thinking about. I was just playing ball.
It's fucking insane to get a scholarship. Like for college football.
Yeah, especially
for any division. And when you don't play, like, this is insanely competitive. You have kids.
Would you believe it, though? I was still the only person on my team that year to get a scholarship.
Wild.
I was the only person on my team that year to get a scholarship.
Do you think that type of kind of freeness for these things to come to you? You had natural ability that was probably out of this world, right? Do you think that played a role in your like psyche at the time? Like, even when you consider like your pop seeing it, like, look, like, I don't want all these things coming so easy. In his mind, he's probably like, people have to work hard in this world. It's going to shape him a type of way. Let me kind of put the hammer down to make him like have to fight for something, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's what he was trying to do. You know what I mean? That's what he was trying to do, and I didn't understand it at the time. When I understand it now.
Got it.
But I didn't understand it then. And I didn't understand a lot of shit, bro. I was just living, you know. I was just a kid. All I do is go outside, play basketball, do my fucking homework.
Yeah.
Go back outside, play some more basketball. You know what I mean? Go skateboard, go do some other shit. Like, that's all I was doing. And like, I never applied to a college, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I was just living.
You were coasting. Like that was
the
definition of coasting.
Yeah, bro. I was just a kid, man.
That just doesn't happen. Like, that's not real life, dude.
Yeah, man.
It's just not.
Yeah.
Take us through going to college and also like now you're still here again, right?
Yeah.
Like it's funny when you think of kids, especially athletes, right? It's like when we think about like what we dreaming of when we're older. You know what I mean? Like what did you have aspirations up until that point in going to college, or was it kind of like you got into college and then started seeing things, or things started happening to where it switched you up?
Bro, so check this out. So my graduation,
it was high school.
High school graduation. I remember leaving outside of graduation and to go like find my family and stuff. And I couldn't find nobody at first, so I had just like sat down for a second. And I literally just sat down. I was by myself and I put my head down and I just started crying, bro. Like
really
real tears. Like the whole ground up under me was like soaking wet, bro. Like, and I was just like, bro, like I just graduated high school and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing next. Like I knew that I was going to college, but it's like
you still had no idea.
I still don't know. Like I don't even know what college is gonna be about. I don't know how none of this is gonna work out. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't know because, like I said, I never applied to a college. I never thought about I didn't even really know what college I really wanted to go to. I remember I was on the phone with my girlfriend the night I got the call from the head coach of Charleston Southern University. I remember my stepmom walking around. She was like, Coach Jay Mills on the phone for you. I'm like, Jay Mills? Only Jay Mills I know is a rapper. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I answered the phone, and he's like, this is Coach Jay Mills from Charleston Southern University. So I grabbed my other phone. I'm like, hey, I got to call you back. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It just happened. But like when I went to college, I was just kind of like, I just felt a little free. I was kind of nervous because I had never been outside of my parents' house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like my dad kept such like tight reins on me because, like I told you, like he said he just didn't know what I wanted to do, so he was just trying to like keep me close. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't party in high school. I couldn't do none of that shit. Like we win a basketball game, everybody else go to B-dubs. You know what I'm saying? To celebrate, I got to be back at the crib. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like you never seen me outside of school. You know what I'm saying? Like my daddy kept me tight. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody, like people say, like anybody, like people on here, they'll tell you all about that shit. Like, I got people coming right now telling me, I remember that, this and that. Like, bro, like that shit was real. Like that's what I was known for. Like you never seen me outside of school.
Wow.
Very disciplined kind of household.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that ever like cause you to be rebellious in any type of way, or was it just kind of?
I wasn't a bad kid. Like the only time I used to get in trouble is like letting my grades slip or like talking in class. But like I've never skipped class before. I ain't never snuck out of the house. Like I was never one of those type of kids.
Got it.
Even to this day, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Like that's just me. I've never been like rebellious in those type of ways.
Absolutely.
And you never got like pressured by friends because during like high school, especially.
No, I get pressured all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like peer pressure. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's just like as your social circle gets, changes, especially in high school, and you're kind of, you're the kid at home or you go to school, but you're not going to the parties and things. That kind of affects how you are in school sometimes for a lot of kids. But for you, that just played no effect?
Nah, not really. It was all I knew.
This dude's like a total anomaly of like life.
Yeah, like that's literally all I knew. You know what I mean? And like when I went to college, I ain't gonna say I got rebellious, but I wasn't up under my dad's thumb no more. So I was doing, but that's when I started getting into all kind of shit in college. Like I was fighting all the fucking time in college and shit. You know what I mean? And just I started being a club promoter, so I started being in the club a lot. Even though I still never drank or did no kind of drugs, even though I was in the club scene all the time. You know what I mean? That's when the fashion stuff kind of like I started being known for it. Like, I was always known as the well-dressed cat, but that's when like the fashion stuff kind of like, oh, Thrash, the nigga that cutting off the sleeves off of his jean jacket and, you know what I'm saying, doing some different shit and wearing mixed-match Chuck Taylors and, you know what I mean, ripping up his jeans and shit like that. You know what I mean? So that's when all that stuff kind of started once I was like on my own and I could do my own shit and I was cutting hair and shit. I remember I was cutting hair for $5 in my dorm room. And I had a little money here and there, so I'd be buying J's and shit in college or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
you're playing sports in college. You're doing
I was
football.
playing sports. Yeah.
So let's kind of take it back for a moment because I want to dive into from the moment you were crying on your graduation. Because one, what the fuck was that? Let's I'm still tripping on that because was it like anxiety? Was it like happiness or sadness or like what the fuck? Because
it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of anxiety, like damn. What do I do now? Like, I don't know. Like, my whole life, all I've known is school. You know what I mean? Like, high school and living in my parents' house. Like, now, like, I don't know how this shit's going to be, me living on my own in a whole nother state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how that shit was going to be. But at the same time, it's like I struggled through school. Like I told you, I struggled with my grades and shit. So it's like the fact that like, bruh, I just fucking graduated. Like literally everything I've known in life, I just finished that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I never got held back or no shit like that. I never failed, you know what I'm saying, anything like that. And I was like, bruh, like I really just accomplished the biggest thing that I've been striving for my whole life right now.
Yeah.
And so that's why
huge.
it kind of like blew my mind, and I couldn't stop crying that whole day. Like even the photos that people were taking with me after graduation, like when my family actually like came and found me and shit like that. It's like every picture I was still like crying. I was like boo-hoo fucking crying.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's
I couldn't stop crying, bro.
And those weren't necessarily tears of happiness. Those were like tears of uncertainty and like,
like I had so many emotions going on. I'm like, bro,
you looked up and you were blind almost. It was like, wait, what's next? I don't even see it.
You know, it's like almost, you know, this whole time, it just seems like this whole time has been just so comfortable and coasting, and it just like came to this end of now you're really stepping into the unknown. Yep. You know, so many people have that unknown feeling like, Nushi, when you're fucking moving from school to school to school, you've gone through that many times. Yep. When people go from middle school to high school, and like, oh my God, like, what's this going to be like? It seems like for you, this was the first time that you felt that little, that transition that a lot of kids maybe feel in other times, whether it's moving or changing schools or doing something totally outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah, because...
But you felt it at an age where, like, 18, like, you're a man now.
Yeah, because like I was saying, like,
you're man now.
I had always been an athlete. I had always been able to dress well. You know what I mean? So it's like it was never nothing like that I was trying to do new. It's like I was always kind of at the top of the totem pole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if I switched schools, I remember when I transferred from Georgia, when I left Georgia and moved to Florida, like the coaches in Florida were already waiting on me. Like when I left Georgia and came to Florida, like the coaches already knew of me. Yeah. I remember I went to the I went to orientation and I just asked a random guy. I was like, you know what the football coach is? I wanted to go meet the football coach. And he was like, "You're that kid from Mandarin, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, we've been waiting on you." And I was actually talking to the football coach. I didn't know it. I was asking him where the football coach was, and he was the football coach.
Your college was in Florida?
My college was in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I moved to Florida in 10th grade.
Gotcha.
Graduated there.
Oh, okay. I see.
So when I moved from Florida went from Georgia to Florida, it's like when I first moved there, I moved in like over the Christmas break, like December. So when the next semester started, I started a fresh semester. And you know, that's the middle of the basketball season already. And I still was able to get on a basketball team in the middle of the season. I remember I had a cousin that lived there, and she took me to the basketball coach's classroom because he taught like a math class. And I walked in and he was like, "Come to practice and we're gonna see how you work with the team or whatever. If we like you, you can dress out, you know what I'm saying, next game or whatever." Next game I was dressing out, it was on from there.
Wow. So it was just like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's wild because it's one of those things where it's like it was handed to you, but it was handed to you because of your ability to be able to like handle it. Yeah. Right? So it's one of those like you were naturally gifted especially in sports, and you were finding yourself in these scenarios where like no normal kid has that op.
And I didn't understand that shit. Like goes back to what I was saying with my dad. He was like, she was just always too
Your dad's
easy
looking
for
at
me.
this like, wait, this isn't normal. Don't let him come on that fucking team. Make him wait till the next season.
Yeah, like I didn't understand it because I'm like, this is just life. This is me. Like I come out, play ball, I do this shit. But I didn't know that everybody else shit ain't that fucking easy. You know what I mean? I didn't know that shit.
Wild.
Like my freshman year of high school is the only time I ever tried out for a team. That's the only time I ever tried out for a team, my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Like I was like, when I moved to Florida, I never had to try out for a team. When I transferred schools again, I never had to try out for a team. You know what I mean? Like,
and they were knowing of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going into college, that summer before college, or even stepping to that first day in college, that's like a monumental time, right? Yeah. Just for you're in college, like it's weird, man. Yeah. I always say the weirdest thing was like going to the grocery store and getting your own groceries, like for you and like not your parents. And it's like, these are my groceries. This is my shit. It's like that sense of like heavy responsibility, but you don't really know how to like use it. You don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it was so much. It was a little bit of that, but so like once again, I was a freshman and I was a scholarship athlete.
Did you know people going in?
I knew like 2 people that were like coming that actually got scholarships from my area as well.
Okay.
So, but that was it. But what I was saying is like me being a scholarship athlete is like your coaches kind of take care of you though. You know what I mean? So it's like I still got a parent, you know what I'm saying, somewhat. Because everything I do, you know what I'm saying, I got to answer to him for it. Or he's the one who's telling me to go do shit or making sure I'm doing the shit I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So I still kind of had a father figure in a way, you know what I'm saying, with my coaches. But outside of them, like, it was still kind of different.
You live in the dorms?
Yeah, I lived in the dorms.
Dorm life.
Yep. We had some interesting turned up nights. That's when I first kind of started getting in. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So you're being in a dorm. You're not under your father's roof and that hold anymore. You're in a dorm with a bunch of kids that have been like partying from high school.
Yeah.
This is like they're used to it. Now they're like, now we're doing it and we have no parents. Like this is just us now. Where they step it up. So you kind of entered in a room where like everyone's on steroids in the party zone.
Yeah.
How'd you kind of acclimate to that environment?
I don't know. I just kind of fit in, I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So another thing is like my uncle back in Georgia, who like my mom's brother, he kind of exposed me to a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? When I was around him, like he was like a drug dealer and all that shit back. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day or whatever. So he exposed me to a lot of stuff. So even though I lived with my daddy and he kept them tight reins on me, I still wasn't in. Like I still was in the know of a lot of stuff because of he kept me involved. I ain't gonna say involved, but he kept me in the know of a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So I wasn't just like this green kid that didn't know shit about the streets. You know what I mean? Like, I was still from the streets.
Yeah, you knew the world existed, but it was kind of like
just my dad like kept me so tight. He's like, I don't want you a part of this fucking life.
Yeah,
but he can't keep me from not knowing about it. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So it's like it wasn't that hard for me to kind of
got it.
You know what I mean? Get used to everything as far as like the college crowd. Like I said, I was a promoter and stuff because I was an athlete and I was kind of popular or whatever. Everybody knew me. I started promoting clubs and that just put you on a whole nother level. Aside from being an athlete.
What was it like for you, that transition from high school athlete to college athlete? Because you're not again you're not a high school athlete that's like been playing every single game, staying healthy, taking it next level. Because like I feel like a lot of times you being the pure anomaly also, right? You can literally play one game in a season and get the scholarship. There's guys out here like training, and what a lot of people don't realize in this sports path is high school to college is a fucking huge change of speed, agility, like just like
size.
Men are entering into the battlefield. But then college to the league where everybody wants to go is a whole nother world, right? So what was it like for your natural gifts to be put to the test in a college form? Because even D1, D2, D3, these cats are still grown men now fighting for the chance towards their dreams, right? And you were kind of in this like, shit, I play all sports, I'm very athletic, but was that a hard transition for you?
So when I got there, the first thing that kind of threw me off is, I mean, I'm just like, I was still out there balling. Like my freshman year on my spring game, I still put up 156 yards receiving with a 56-yard touchdown. You know what I mean? As a freshman, like I was just a raw athlete. Yeah. Bro. But the thing, I was still small. Because I played safety and receiver in high school.
I could not.
But they would not let me play no safety when I got to college though. I was a $180. I was 6'4", $185. No. So they weren't having that shit. Even though I was still an athlete, but they was like, bro, hell no, you already injury prone any fucking way. We know that. So, but like the thing that caught me off guard is like seeing off season how out of shape a lot of these cats be. Like that's one thing I thought. And once you got to college, everybody was just fucking diesel, all this shit. You know what I mean? And I got them like, bro, y'all niggas fat. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas got guts. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas smoking weed, getting drunk every fucking night. And then, but soon as season come in and you got to start working out, everybody form up and they get, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody, they're super focused. In high school, you got a lot of cats just doing shit because they don't want to go home after school. They playing football. They ain't really good athletes. But then in high school, it's like, all right, we all here for a reason. So like, when it's time to buckle down, it's time to buckle down. And that's one thing that I kind of struggle with is me getting out of my parents' house, it's like I was still trying to be all over the place and do shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was a raw athlete, but I'm having trouble learning my playbook and shit. Because I don't want to
have
buckle
the
down in
freedom
that
and
sense.
you want to go.
Yeah,
go.
I'm sitting there trying to do all this shit and still trying to go to class, and I'm still trying to be fly as fuck on campus, and still got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning for workouts, and I got to learn my playbook. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It was a lot for me. So I was fucking up a lot in that sense. But as far as my talent wise, I was still raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did it come to a head?
Man, I mean, I got kicked out my sophomore year, so
For what?
I
mean, you can't just say that. I mean,
man, you know, there's a lot of people in this fucking world waiting on me to say this answer. I'm gonna say it. I was selling Adderall. One of my teammates got caught on NCAA drug test and snitched on me.
Wow.
how'd you even get into doing that? Well, I mean, not
just cash hustle.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Adderall's. I mean, yeah, in college, everyone. That's
Yeah,
like,
Everybody.
Everyone,
yeah.
yeah. That's-
I remember, and I'll never forget one of my teammates. The way it happened is, so I was prescribed Adderall just because I got trouble focusing in class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be in class doing all kind of other shit instead of focusing or whatever. So my dad had took me to the doctor or whatever. They put me in Adderall, and like I don't need the shit. It's just whatever. So I don't like taking medicine for one thing. That's just not. That's why I can't do drugs and all that shit. Like I'm not that type of dude.
Yeah.
And so I just had this bottle of Adderall in my room, and I remember I was in class one day. I was in the locker room one day, and one of my teammates came in there like, "Bro, anybody got some fucking Adderall?" I'm like, you know, I'm like, I said, "What, bro?"
actually,
As a matter of fact, dog.
Yeah, I'm like, "Hey, bro, come holler at me real quick." You know what I mean? So I started serving cats, you know what I'm saying, a little Adderall, because I wasn't using the shit, you know what I mean? I just had it sitting there. You know what I mean? And long story short, one of my teammates ended up getting caught in the NCAA drug test because Adderall is only accepted if it's like you're prescribed it. You know what I mean? Like, so my team knew that I was prescribed it. So if I'd have got caught on the drug test, it would have been okay because
Sure.
I was prescribed it.
Yeah.
But my teammate wasn't. And who fucking knows why the reason he would mention my fucking name when he got caught? Like, still to this day, nobody fucking understands that. But he could have said he got that from fucking Joe Smo off the street. But he happened to say my fucking name. So
Yeah, direct. He could have got it from somebody off campus.
exactly. So the crazy thing is I got kicked out of
Because
school.
Adderall isn't also, it's not like heroin where it's like one of those things. It's like, okay, kids are studying using this Adderall
Yeah.
to focus.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is I got kicked out of school when I was at home for like over Christmas break. Like the school called my dad and was like, told him the whole rundown.
Oh,
My dad
man.
called me in the office. He was like, "Tell me about these drugs you been selling." I'm like, "Huh?" And he was like, "The Adderall." I was like, "Oh shit." And then low key, I could have like appealed that shit and not even got in trouble because like they didn't catch me doing it. You know what I mean? But my dad is like, you know what I'm saying? He's a real like, you know what I'm saying, genuine guy. And he was like, "Bro, if you did it, you did it." You know what I'm saying? Just admit to it. I was like, "Fuck it, I did it." So like literally, they were so strict about that shit. Like they wouldn't allow me on campus, like type shit.
Wow.
that's so it's not like you were slanging Adderall to like tons of different students.
Yeah,
it was just like
it ain't like I was moving fucking pounds of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro.
It's not like you had a distributor.
also-
like
so-
knowing what goes on
Hey,
in
dog,
college,
you got the shipment of Addies in yet?
knowing what really goes down in college.
Yeah.
He gave like the homie the Adderall. He's like, what?
Somebody saw a prescription bottle in your room. Like,
Have you ever been to like a frat party?
what? Bro?
Yeah, so they turned up on my shit. So yeah, so that whole little shit went down, and now I'm really fucked. I'm like, damn, I'm a fucking statistic. You know what I'm saying? I'm this, you know what I'm saying, black kid with all this fucking talent, went to school and fucked up, and now I don't know what the fuck I'm finna do. But the one thing I told my dad I wasn't gonna do was I was not moving back home. So I went back to school, grabbed all my shit. I moved in with my girlfriend at the time. She didn't actually go to my school, but she lived like in the same area. I moved in with my girlfriend. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna figure some shit out. So I was trying to get jobs and shit. I'm trying to, since me being a college athlete, I was trying to get jobs like a gym and shit like that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Couldn't get a job for nothing. So remind you, I told you I was a promoter, and one of the biggest promoters in Charleston at the time was a barber, and I didn't even know it, but I was working with him. I was working with him in the club scene and never knew. And then somebody else telling me he was a barber, I was like, oh shit, let me holler at bro, see about getting in the barbershop, because I had been cutting hair the whole fucking time. You know what I mean? Everybody knew me for cutting hair on campus. So he was like, yeah, I can get you in the shop. You know what I'm saying? Help you get your license and this and that and this and that. So I told my girl, I was like, I'm finna handle this situation, get on my feet, I'm gonna be out. So she was like, cool.
You didn't want to go back to school? Like to
No.
another school?
No, so they actually, the school I went to, so I was suspended for a year. So they wanted me to transfer to a JUCO out here in California, matter of fact. They wanted me to transfer to a JUCO out here in California and come back to them after that year suspension was over.
Wow.
I'm like, bro, y'all.
Like specifically in California.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, first of all, y'all crazy as hell. Y'all think I'm finna come back here. You know what I mean? After going to JUCO. I'm like, I'm gonna go bigger if I do anything. But I think what happened, I don't even remember exactly. I just remember I got in a barbershop and things were just going well. You know what I mean? I was young still. I was like 19 and I was making good money. You know what I mean? So all of my friends are still college kids, but I got my own crib, got a dope whip. You know what I mean? I'm making money and shit. I got a pocket full of cash. And I think I just got comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
But then I still, at the same time, I still was a creative. But anyway, so I was sitting in a barbershop, bro, and I'm watching TV, and I'm like, bro, whoever cutting all these cats' hair, these rappers and movie stars, I'm like, bro, these niggas ain't getting no $12 for a haircut. And that's how much we would charge for a haircut in a barbershop. Mm-hmm. So that's what I started thinking. But like everybody else that was in the barbershop was like older cats, you know what I mean? I was the only young cat. Everybody else was like married with kids and shit, you know what I mean? And they had been there their whole life doing the same shit their whole life. You know what I mean? That was the extent of what they wanted to do, as far as I know. And I was just talking crazy shit. Like I used to name my haircuts. The first name my haircuts ever had was 2 bitches and a blowjob.
Stop that.
I used to call my haircuts 2 bitches and a blowjob. Cause I used to tell people like, bro, you get a cut by me, bro, you guaranteed to get 2 bitches and a blowjob after get that cut.
That's lit.
So like it became a thing though. Like people used to really come to the barbershop like, hey bro, let me get that 2 bitches and a blowjob. You know what I mean? Like it was it was a thing.
For real.
But they thought I was just young and talking crazy and reckless. But like really, bro, this was a form of branding and shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, bro, all I need to do is have access to these celebrities. If I get the access to these celebrities, I cut just as good as any of these other barbers who cut their fucking hair.
Yeah.
So, I was actually supposed to be moving to Atlanta to play ball again because I ended up finding out that I had like a year and a half left of eligibility to play ball or whatever. And everyone knew that I was about to move to Atlanta. Everybody, this that Thrash about to move to Atlanta. He leaving Charleston. And this chick that I was talking to at the time, she's like a big like YouTuber right now. She's like a big like YouTube vlogger.
Yeah.
And she was about to move to LA, and she was like, bro, why you just don't move to LA with me? Do some shit you really want to do. She's like, you can crash with me till you get on your feet. I'm like, shit, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm a barber. I got a barber's license. I can transfer that motherfucker. So literally, the day she told me that shit, I called my dad and like, hey, this what I'm about to do. This is the move. He was like, nah, I don't want you to do that. That LA shit different. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You ain't never been nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, mind you, I ain't never been on an airplane before. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
I'm a country ass little kid. So,
never been on an airplane.
Yeah, I had never been on an airplane before. Like, I hadn't been nowhere higher than like, no, I had been to like Ohio, but like on a bus. You know what I mean? Like, I had never really been nowowhere, but that was as a kid itself. I had Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. That's all I knew.
Wow.
And I'm like 19, 20. And I was probably like 20, 21 at the time. And I was like, all right, bet. So my dad was like, he didn't want me to go. I talked to my mama. She was like, she didn't want me to go, but she supported me. My mom support whatever I do. You know what I mean? So 2 weeks later, I moved to LA. I had never been on a plane. Never thought about moving to LA. Like LA seemed like some fairy tale shit to me. Like some shit you only see on TV or you only see it in movies. Like people don't really live in LA. You know what I mean? Yeah. Regular people don't live in LA. That's just TV.
Yeah.
And I moved out here and like I just started making shit shake. You know what I'm saying? I was still coming from the South. You grow up being a hustler. You know what I'm saying? You got to do whatever it takes to make your ends meet. Like I said, I was in high school cutting hair for $5. You know what I'm saying? So I moved out here, and I remember the first gig I had, I was cutting hair in a nail salon. I was the only barber cutting hair in a nail salon just because I just needed somewhere to try to meet people. And it was like a shopping center, so I'm out there hustling. I'm in Gardena and shit with all these bloods and shit like that, trying to, you know what I'm saying, networking. Like, hey, bro, come let me cut your shit, bro, get you right. And so that shit just transitioned, bro, and I was just bouncing from, like, place to place trying to find my way, man. And, like, I would say my second month in L.A. is when I got my first client, my first celeb client. And that was French Montana. And I'll never forget, I knew of him because he had, like, his song was, like, buzzing in the club and shit. Yeah. But I didn't know what he looks like. And I remember I was driving to Hollywood, to this hotel. He was standing at the Madrion that day. And I was driving to the Madrion, and I'm Googling French Montana so I know what he looks like when I get there.
You're not going to have that college coach, the coach experience.
Yeah. So I'm Googling this, and you're like, let me make sure I know what he looked like when I get there because, You know what I mean?
Wow. How'd that opportunity come?
Yeah.
So the way it happened, so when I moved here, I didn't know nobody. It was just me and that chick.
And what part of LA? You moved
I moved to Ladera Heights.
Okay.
I moved to Ladera Heights.
Got it.
So I didn't know nobody when I moved here. So the chick that I moved here with, the complex we were staying in, it was these 2 club promoters that lived there. And I met them and we got cool. I started cutting their hair and stuff. They started bringing me to the club with them. I was in the club 4-5 nights a week when I first moved here. Every single week religiously for months. And I just got exposed to a lot of shit, a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was tall, I could dress, you know what I'm saying? I was different. And people just like, they only knew me for the fashion though. People didn't really know what I did. So I remember I was talking to this chick one night after the club. We was standing outside of it was called True Hollywood back then.
Wow.
It's Argyle now, but it was True Hollywood back then.
Oh, yeah.
And we was standing outside on the corner, and we was just chopping it up. And she was like, "Oh," she was just talking to herself. She was like, "Oh shit, I forgot I gotta find a barber for French tomorrow." I was like,
How wild
I'm like,
is that?
yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm a barber, right? She like, nah, nigga, I just thought you were just a nigga that dressed cool, and nigga, I ain't know what you did. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm a barber. So she was like, oh shit, well, let me see some of your work. And I sent her to French and see if he fuck with it. So I sent her some photos. She sent her to French. He approved. The next day, you know what I'm saying, I'm on the way to, you know what I'm saying, cut French for the first time. Yeah. And like from that shit just started snowball affecting the different people from that to athletes. And you know what I mean? And that's how I kind of started developing my name. Like I can honestly say I developed my original name in Hollywood from the club. Yeah, so the club scene is what kind of helped me get out here in LA.
Absolutely. What was it for you that like attracted you to the club scene, being that you were kind of brought up reserved, right? It's incredible for me to see this dichotomy of you, right? Of being brought up very cultured and nurtured from the family, but then also being able to be so expressive externally. What was it that kind of drew you to the club?
It started in college when I was promoting. It was strictly a money scheme. It was like, how can I make some money, like some real money in college?
Yeah.
And I started a entertainment group called Fan Club Entertainment. And it stands for Fly Ass Niggas. It was FAN, Fan Club, Fly Ass Niggas Entertainment. And we was big. Like we was like shutting down fucking frat parties and shit for our party. You know what I mean? Like our parties was popping.
Wow.
And so when I moved to LA, it's like I knew I didn't want to be a promoter no more, but I was still, that was the life I was used to. I was in the club all the fucking time. You know what I mean? That's what I was used to. That's what the most people gonna see my fit. You know what I mean? Like so that's what it was.
And the right people gonna see my fit.
Especially out here in LA.
Yeah.
So it was kind of comfortable for me when I moved out here. Especially I learned the Hollywood shuffle and shit out here. You know what I mean? It was like a little different. Like out there we ain't got bottle service and you know what I'm saying, all this and that and all these, you know what I'm saying, foreign women and shit like that. Like we didn't have all that stuff. But out here it's like I learned the Hollywood shuffle, I learned how to move, you know what I'm saying? I learned how to look comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to infiltrate certain circles and stuff, you know what I'm saying, to get where I gotta go. You know what I mean? It's the Hollywood shuffle, you know what I'm saying? We all know what it is.
Absolutely.
So once I learned that kind of stuff, it's like then I could kind of be myself and get where I was trying to go. So it's like, okay, the type of people that I'm looking for, they hang out in these crowds. So it's like now that I've learned the overall view, all right, I'm going to start going to these kind of parties and networking with these kind of people. You know what I mean? So, and the good thing about me is like the way I dress and the way my personality is like totally different. So I can move in the ratchet clubs and I can move in the fucking Soho house. You know what I mean? I know how to work all these rooms. So like that's always been a good thing about me as well. Just like the way I was raised is like, yeah, I come from the hood, but I was raised strict. So I know both ends of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that always worked good. Worked good for me.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy coming from like the country to the city, especially LA. There's huge like conglomerates, super active, and to come in that like smoothly into it, you just don't hear about that. Yeah. Did you have any was there a challenge getting in your first month or two? Was there any struggle moments that you faced? Like, all right, I don't know if I should be here. Maybe I should go back. Was there anything that threw you off? Yeah,
I had a situation where I actually thought I was gonna have to move back, and I was really messed up. And I remember the chick that I was dealing with at the time. I remember telling her, and I remember she broke down crying on my shoulder.
What happened?
No, I just
I
thought I was gonna have to leave because
why?
So the chick that I was living with, she was living in the military, and it had some shit to do with the guy that she was supposed to be engaged to, and she wasn't supposed to be living with someone else because the military was paying for her housing. She was supposed to be living with someone else that that she wasn't engaged or some shit like that. And I had to move, and it's like I still wasn't on my feet really. You know what I mean? To move out. So I was like, damn, I might have to move back to the crib. And so the chick was like, so I had her, and then I had my business partner that I had, my homeboy that I had just started like a little blog with or whatever. And they were both like, bro, we ain't letting you go back to the crib. Like, you came out here for a reason, and you got real niggas who gonna hold you down. So the chick, she held me down. She let me like move a lot of my stuff into her garage or her crib. And I started crashing with Norris. I started crashing with him. So I was literally living out of a bag on Norris' couch for the longest. You know what I mean? So that's some shit that I was going through. And like, people don't know, like, I was fucked up for so long, bro. Like, I was for years out here. I was fucked up living on couches and shit. But like, no one ever knew it. Cause one, I'm a barber. I stay with a fresh cut, stay clean shaven, stay dressing nice. People never knew that I was fucked up. Sometimes I ain't have $1 in my pocket. But you could never tell because of the way I carry myself and the type of people I associate myself with. What
was that like for you? Like, I want to go, because that's like the creative struggle, right? And I feel like, you know, LA and these, especially LA, is one of those areas where it's really a fake it till you make it, right? Yeah. And the concept of that, it holds very true, because to get to wherever you're trying to go, it's an arduous journey, whatever field it is, right? But in Los Angeles, I feel especially is that a lot of entertainment is smoke and mirrors, right? So the aspiration to want to do something is one thing, but then also like the grind that it takes to really aspire to do it is another, right? A lot of shit sounds good until it either doesn't or it hits, right? And you're willing to, you naturally knew there was so much in life you wanted, and you were willing to do whatever the fuck it took to get there. What did that do for your psyche in living in this glamorized world, but also like hustling and doing whatever the fuck it took, but knowing that it's like, bro, like, I feel like it's one of those things in our heads as we start evolving of like, when the fuck is this gonna hit?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like that today. I'm like, bro, when am I gonna really, you know what I'm saying, get to that level where I'm comfortable? I'm still not comfortable. I'm better than I was, but I'm not comfortable yet. But back to when you had mentioned about like faking it till you making it. But that's one thing I can say I never did. I never faked it till I made it. Like, people just didn't know unless you talk to me. If you talk to me, everyone knew, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't as comfortable as I would. Like, bro, like, I was developing out this fan base from being a stylist and being a model and all this stuff and a blogger and like social media and shit. I got all these followers on Instagram, and like, I'm running into my fans and shit on the bus and on the train and shit like that. You know what I mean? And they like, bro, like, you take the train? I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm regular as fuck, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but the perception was so much larger than what the reality was. But it's not like I was faking it. It's just, I'm not gonna walk around, I'm fucked up. Y'all
don't know what I'm really like.
I'm not fucked up. Like, I ain't got no ego. I remember calling my boy Wood one day. I remember like, hey, bro, I'm fucked up right now, my nigga. I need some, can you take me to the grocery store and like give me some food on your EBT card? And he was like, bro, that's some real shit. The fact that you really humbling up there, like, calling and ask me that. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, bro, I ain't got no ego, bro. Like, I feel like the shit that I'm going through, my nigga, is my story. And I feel like if I didn't go through this stuff, it's like, what are you really living for if you ain't really got no story to tell? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you get to your success. So like, I have no ego to anything that I've been going through, bro. Like, people that know me, to like really hang out with me, they know all the shit that I done went through and have been through. You know what I mean? I don't fake shit about what I was doing, because I feel like that's the reason I'm going through this shit. Is the reason I want to be able to tell other people, so like maybe they can skip that part and maybe like, okay, well, Thrash fucked up doing this, so maybe I shouldn't take that route, because, you know what I'm saying, he saw that wasn't the route to go. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So everything is a lesson.
You damn right.
How do you deal with that pressure though? Because especially being in LA and surrounded by so many people, we're in a city where one, perception is everything. It can be everything very quickly. And two, people do have tremendous egos, especially in the industry you're in, dealing with celebrities, dealing with people that work for the celebrities that think they're celebrities. It's crazy to hear that you have no ego. I mean, it's a very special thing about it, you know.
It's also a testament to like where and how he was raised.
100%. And I think that played a huge part in moving to a city like this, where so many people come here and completely fake who they are. You actually being like prideful in that is like, look, this is who I am. I'm regular as fuck. Again, it's an anomaly to this whole thing. But did you ever feel like
I feel like I've had the pressure.
Yeah.
I've had the pressure, but I've never like succumbed to it.
Because like when you're working for a celebrity, giving a celebrity a haircut, don't you have to feel like you're at a certain level to even have that opportunity?
Yeah.
And doesn't that kind of counteract it when you're like sleeping on a couch?
I see where you're coming from, but like I feel like it wasn't really
like the
that
psychological aspect.
Yeah.
I honestly feel exactly what you're saying, but no, because I'm not a down and I can't let myself be down in the dumps because I know it's better days. I know I'm still doing better than other people. I know it's other people going through shit way worse than me.
I guess it's more like a confidence thing.
Yeah. So like to be able to dress the way I was fucking dressed and do the shit I was doing, you have to have a level of confidence no matter what your situation is. You know what I mean? And I got a lot of good people, a lot of real people like in my corner that still talk to me, you know what I'm saying, every day and let me know like, bro, like you doing some good shit and like you're affecting people and like your testimony is reaching people and people are respecting that shit. You know what I mean? So like my boy Q, I remember he had to tell me one day on the phone because he lived back in Atlanta now, and he was like, bro, like back here at the crib, it's like people look up to you way bigger than when you were actually here, and like they don't know the shit that you're going through. Like he knows what I was going through. Yeah. Like they think you up here, they think you this big huge celebrity and don't know that they're doing better than you are. You're literally doing
how wild is that?
That's insane.
In that type of perception.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that really will get to people. And it's one of those things, it's a testament to you though, because a lot of people get crossed up in how things look. Right? How things seem. I think one of the biggest things that when I look at you I smile is that as a human being, you're so normal in that you're comfortable with the humanity of just pure living, right? You're very confident, and you have like it's really like beautiful to see. Like you have this sensibility of comfort and home, but you also have very high aspirations, right? And you're also grounded in knowing that this is me, but I want more. And it's not that you're okay, how can this really like put me up? Or everything for you was adding to what you already had at its core, as opposed to like a new transformation of who you're gonna be tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of those things that really gets people in that fake it till you make it scenario is if you don't understand who you are and you reach a level where you start having this social media acclaim or all these types of things, or even like musicians or athletes, if you don't know who you are and you start becoming, like your essence is lost.
Done. Yeah, that's what we call getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, seriously.
But
and you also have to deliver in I think what you do too. Like going to your first opportunity working with French. Were you nervous going in, like, or were you like, all right, it's showtime? Or
I was nervous as shit. I remember I was nervous as shit. I was sweating and shit. But after like literally sweating. I'm talking about like, you know what I mean? Like, but after so many times of dealing with that shit and when you start hanging out with celebrities and people of, you know what I'm saying, higher, you know what I'm saying, statuses like that, it's like you realize like, bro, these niggas regular ass niggas like me.
Yeah.
They low-key got more insecurities than I do. You know what I mean? So like once you start realizing that, and it's like, bro, this nigga, he just like my client I just cut earlier today who paid me fucking $20. You know what I mean? Like
straight up.
So once that kind of reality struck, it's like, bro, we all equal out here.
We all humans, bro.
Yeah.
That's one thing people tend to forget, like the human aspect of all this shit.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like there's so much sauce, but like, is it your sauce or is it like you just out here in a bowl, you jumped in like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
How was it for you juggling? Were you searching for kind of a lane, or were you just on the tip of that southern hustletality, if you will, right? Of just like, I'm going to hustle until I get it.
That's what
I'm going to figure it out. If one hits, like I'm still doing this, like, or was it like, okay, let me narrow it down? Because you seem like a very eclectic dude.
Yeah, I'm literally just getting to that point where I'm starting to narrow shit down because I've just always been hustling. It's like, because I was fucked up for so long that it's like I got to do whatever I got to do to make ends meet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just all hustle. But I started kind of like, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to cut celebrity hair. I knew I wanted to get paid in one haircut what I was getting paid for a whole day of work in the barbershop. That's what I knew I wanted to do. You know what I mean? But it was still like, the reason I stopped working in a barbershop is because the barbershop was hindering me from being able to go to events and network and do other things that I wanted to do. So like I literally had to like jump off the porch and be like, all right, yeah, I'm working in the barbershop. I'm cutting hair all day. I got a little money in my pocket, but I'm miserable. I'm doing the same shit I was doing back at the crib now. You know what I mean? So I was like, I had to jump off the porch and get out of the shop so I could be able to move around and do other shit. So that's another thing is like, I'm not comfortable with just making money. Like I want to do what the fuck I love to do. So even though I was making money, I wasn't loving that shit no more. So I was like, bro, I got to go do some other shit. So that's why I jumped out of the barbershop and I went back to being fucked up again. I went back to being more fucked up.
Oh, what's that like?
Yeah, like,
see, we hear that so much in these stories in our guests. A moment where it's like, fuck it, I'm jumping and I'm going back because knowing one of the most challenging things is jumping and knowing like the money isn't going to be there. Money is the biggest reason I feel why people stay where they are.
And that's the conversation I was having with my boy Cuba when he was like, everybody back at the crib. He's like, they low-key doing better than you financially, but they fucking miserable working these 9-to-5s every day and coming home to they fucking baby mama cussing them out, you know what I'm saying? They baby throwing up on the fucking couch and, you know what I'm saying? And they waking up and doing the same shit over and over while you out here living the fucking life. You may not be making a lot of money right now, but you living. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm in the clubs hanging out with this person doing that shit, or I'm cutting this person's hair, or I'm backstage at this concert with such and such, or you know what I mean? I got the opportunity to go here. I'm in Vegas for the Mayweather fight, and you know what I mean? Because I'm associated with certain people. And I'm like, bro, I'd rather be living this life right now while I'm still trying to find my way instead of putting in 40 hours a week making somebody else rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're damn right.
That was my mentality.
What other things did you do? Did you have other hustles, other jobs, like just to make those ends meet?
I mean, shit, like I said, I was cutting hair. I was doing like little styling stuff. I had started a blog trying to get some stuff moving with that. I was still doing like little odd end model jobs and stuff. I was going to casting auditions, trying to do some acting shit, knowing damn well that ain't what I came out here for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's some other shit I done did, bro? I done did so much shit. I started selling my sneakers and stuff. I started selling sneakers. What else I've been doing out here, bro? I done did so many different things that like didn't even stick. I was just doing it for the moment because I had the opportunity. Same way with the college situation. It's like I didn't come in here like I'm finna be a dope boy. It was just like seeing the opportunity. I'm finna make it fit because you know what I mean.
Absolutely,
the opportunity's right here.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of little odd end things I was doing. You know what I'm saying, just to kind of make shit shake.
When did it start to click? Internally.
I don't know if I have an answer to that, bro. Because I still feel like I'm still hustling. I'm still hustling. I'm still not comfortable with where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'm in a better place than I was. Yeah. But I still feel like I'm still learning shit. I'm still networking. I'm still trying to get in certain doors.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like it clicked early for me what the recipe was. The recipe clicked for me months after moving out here. It's like, okay, I'm sitting back watching cats. I'm watching cats who are really Hollywood as fuck, they only fuck with certain people for a certain reason, and they talk shit about them behind their back, and they doing this and that. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to involve myself, but let me scope the scene right quick. Let me scope the scene and see what's going on so I can recognize these people when they come in my circle. You know what I mean? So like I peep game early. You know what I mean? But still to this day, I'm still hustling. I'm still grinding for the same things that I was, you know what I'm saying, when I first moved out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it'll ever be now with that? Do you feel like it'll ever be a scenario where it's like a breath of fresh air, or do you think that it's just naturally the hustle that has you wanting to keep evolving? Because like it doesn't necessarily need to be a good or a bad thing. And like now that I felt it that way, it's like I feel like you've constantly been on the run, right? But now it's like instead of running towards something that you have no idea what you're running towards, you're now in a position where you're seeing ends that you want to go towards, and you're just sprinting.
Yeah.
The hustle is always gonna like be in your spirits, right? If you like, where do you see it going? So,
honestly, just a better financial situation to what my liking would be. Yeah. Is what would kind of be that breath of fresh air, as you were saying, because I'm doing shit that I'm living the fucking life that people want to live. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just not where I want to be with it. So I feel like once I got a better financial situation, I don't have to break my back to be doing every fucking thing, ripping and running all over the place to do shit. Especially, I just had a kid. Like, I just had my first son. You know what I mean?
Congratulations.
So it's like, appreciate it, brother. And like, that shit is just, it turns it on another notch. Now it's like, okay, I was hustling for myself now. Now I got to hustle for this little nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, now I got to turn it up even more. It ain't me just trying to feed myself now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, now it's like, it's even more pressure. So it's like, I can't say I was ever, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say I can't ever say I kind of was, I hit a peak. Because now it's like, I'm back to square one again. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
How's this journey been for you? Like LA, I feel like when you came to LA, everything just started actualizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It started becoming more real. Your scene also allowed you to really make all these realities come to life, because you could be in any area across the United States, be a dope barber, or be this, be that, but like, you're not gonna get those types of characters, whether it's the athletes or the entertainers or the celebrities. So now you took yourself on a whim to an area that was going to allow you to thrive, right? Your personality and also your abilities allowed you to really be like a beacon of light within these spaces, right? Naturally, it's crazy to think, because naturally you hustling, you in all these areas, you have all this access. What's it like dealing with the fact that you still got to hustle to make the ends meet? Because in all of these creative worlds, it's one of those things where all of these, whether it's a stylist or whether it's a barber or whether it's all these things, the game in and of itself still makes cats, the pieces of that puzzle, like, go through an indentured servitude before their worth ties up with how much they're being paid for what they do. And I feel like the entertainment industry, especially in these styling worlds and the grooming and all these spaces, until your brand is solidified and locked into where you say either you come fuck with me or you don't, cats are really trying to make it work, because everybody wants to squeeze as much out of creative individuals as they can to get what they need, but not necessarily pay for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Right? And naturally you have to go through a cycle of paying dues, if you will. But I feel like in this space, paying dues is something that, like, it's really walking along a tightrope. Did you have to deal with that? Like, are you still dealing with that in that aspect of these multitudes of things?
Yeah, not so much. Now I feel like I know my worth. So even if, like, I could low key need the money, but if I feel like somebody trying to get over on me,
yeah,
then I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll hustle in another way.
When does that moment happen?
When does that happen? I don't know. I feel like when I was just trying to, I think when I got a grasp of how everything worked. You know what I mean? Like, I understood that, okay, I have to do certain things in order for people to gain my trust, or you know what I'm saying, people to see my work. You know, I understand, like, I just don't walk in the door with a resume. I have to do shit to develop a resume. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I understood that. But once I done did certain shit, and I'm like, bro, like, nigga, I done work with fucking Prince, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I done work with all these other A-listers. And it's like, I know I'm dope now, and I know what I'm worth. Like, I don't have to do shit for free for you no more, because you can see that I'm worth paying for this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that, once I got to that point, I was like, okay, if y'all playing games and don't want to give me what I'm asking for, it's like, I'm cool. Go let somebody else fuck your shit up.
So it's such a huge part of like the journey when you're doing anything entrepreneurial, is that first period where you have to kind of, your worth actually and your value isn't dollars yet. It's building your credibility, is building like trust in people, is building your reputation
and your confidence in all of that,
and people's confidence in you. And so all that, even though it's not dollars, it's a different kind of value that sets the foundation. But then there is that moment where you kind of have to switch and say like, well, now this is a dollar game. Now I do have to charge what I'm actually worth. But it's just an interesting point I always like to talk about is kind of that grind part where you have to build and not forget about the credibility and the reputation that you're trying to build and invest in yourself. You can't just come out the gates like, well, I know I'm dope and I'm not getting any work because I should be getting paid what that guy's getting paid, and since they're not paying me that, I'm not going to do it. You have to kind of sacrifice that, even though you're working at that level or even higher.
Yeah.
You still have to drop that to build your credibility.
Yeah. And even like that's what I'm saying. Like when I had to learn the game and I started seeing how certain shit worked, it's like, okay, I may have to sacrifice not getting paid what I want to get paid or what I feel like I should be paid for this job, but it may put me in the right room with people who can book,
the relationships,
who can book me more consistently. Instead of just me trying to get this big lump sum for this one project. Okay, maybe I can, if I do this shit for the price that they want me to do it for, I can get more consistent work, and it'll work out better than, you know what I'm saying, me trying to get this big lump sum.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. It was a whole learning game of learning how to work the entrepreneurial game. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no office job. So it's like it isn't written.
There's no rule book.
Yeah, it ain't no rule book to this shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to learn the game, and that's why I had to sit back and humble myself and like learn that shit and see. That's what I'm saying. I sat for a long time. I sat back and I just watched how people move.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, normally that ain't no shit I do, but I see how that shit worked in his favor. You know what I'm saying, in the long run. So it's like, okay, maybe now I can change the way I think about certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how the game is.
Absolutely.
Now
you have to study the game.
Oh, you have 100%.
You have to be a student, not only like in your own craft, but seeing how it moves, and especially in a game that's as murky as these areas are. You know
and it
what
was
I'm saying?
a lot of, bro. It's so many fuck niggas that I ran into out here, bro. And it's like, bro, like I'm really with the shits, bro. Like I ain't with all these games and shit that people be playing.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes you just gotta let people beat them.
Yes.
Let them fuck up they shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And remain humble and remain true to you, and then your shit comes back. When you a genuine motherfucker, and you do genuine shit.
Yeah.
And you got a good fucking product.
Absolutely.
Shit's gonna work out. That's why I don't get discouraged that I'm not at the level where I think I should be right now or I want to be, is because I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that I'm not half-assing my job.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not taking days off. You know what I mean? So when the timing is right, I'm gonna be blessed. So I just keep doing what I do. You know
Absolutely.
How much is what you do for you, just personally, the creative aspect of it, of, you know, utilizing your creative mind, feeling your creative soul, or is it more a skill that you got really dope at that you can see building a business?
It's a skill that I got really dope at, and I'm doing well with it, and I'm affecting people with it. Like there's a lot of people who look up to me with this, and like even though I have a broader spectrum with things, and there's other things that I want to do later on in life. Like right now, it's people that need me to be doing this. Yeah, I don't just have to be doing this for the money. It's like it's other people that need me to be doing this. It's people, I get DMs all day. I get like fan mail all day about stuff that I low key didn't care about at the time. But like when people message me like, bro, I live in South Carolina and I want to be a barber, and I used to, you know what I'm saying, see your stuff back in the day on Facebook and this and that, and you inspired me to do this, and can you check out this and let me know what you think about it? And it's like, man, bro, like I low-key didn't even want to I low-key didn't want to tell my client I wasn't cutting today, you know what I'm saying, over here. But I know that I need to be doing this shit because you know what I'm saying, that shit might strive for you to be somewhere different for your job tomorrow.
It's bigger than you.
Yeah, it's bigger than me.
That's interesting.
But so even with this, it's like I'm doing this shit every day for myself, but also for others.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do everything just for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like once I realize that I'm an actual influencer and people need this shit, bro, it's like I'm influenced by so many other things, and if I didn't have those things, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So it's like if I don't continue doing what I'm doing, people aren't gonna get where they need to be. You know what I mean?
It's crazy that you take that type of responsibility
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, look, this is me. I don't give a fuck what that sounds like.
So
I don't
much
give
in
a fuck
art.
what I've said or done. Like, y'all, you got to digest it.
Yeah.
But you've gotten to this point where you're like, look, like, because it's liberating, right? To even think like, bro, there's pressure, but it's also very like liberating in the sense of like, damn, I'm doing it. I'm struggling through this, right? It may seem a lot better, but there's also the youth that look up to what I'm doing, right? I have to win. I have to win because I got to let you know that you can too, right? So there's nobody that's going to stop this train from rolling. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm destined to win now.
Dude, it's one thing I think about with music,
Yeah.
and it's such a cool perspective that you said that. You know, with music or art, where people are like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm going to make the album I want to make. I'm going to make the art that I want to make. And the way I've always viewed music or art is like there's two components. You create it coming from you, but the other thing is also is meant to be shared. Yeah. That's how they like live off each other. You know, that's how you can actually exist as an artist.
Exactly.
And that shared part often gets lost with like the selfishness or the just like ego of the artist.
Absolutely.
So you just come out the gates and say that. That's why I was curious, like how much is this actually your creative art of like, how much does it inspire you versus what you're putting out there and affecting? So really interesting perspective.
I love everything that I do. Like I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love it. Like that's why I've never really worked like a 9 to 5 like that. You know what I mean? When I have worked like a job, it was like for like a month or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I've never really worked a job because I refuse to do some shit that I don't love to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? I refuse to do it. Like even if it's just to put some money in my pocket, it's like, nah. You know what I mean? Like I have to be genuine.
Figure out how to do this.
I have to be genuine to myself. So yeah.
How is it with your parents right now? Like
I mean everything's great. They I ain't asking them for shit no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? they like that. And like I said, so let me go back to when I say I sat down, me and my dad sat down. It was my first time going back home to visit Florida after I moved to LA.
Got it.
And me and my dad sat down at the table, eating some food or whatever, and that's when he told me about he felt like I never, you know what I'm saying? He never knew what I really had a passion for. That's why he was so hard on me. And he was like, I don't understand what you're doing, but I see that you love what you're doing and that you're being effective with it. So he was like, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? You found your lane in what you're doing, and I respect that as a man. Like, you ain't asking me for nothing no more. You making your own ends meet. So that's what the fuck happened? But yeah, so that was one thing. What else? What did you ask?
How'd that feel for you?
It felt good just because knowing that I had his support finally. Cause I tell you, like I felt like we used to clash and bump heads so much. It's like now it's kind of like, all right, cool. I ain't got him on my neck no more. He ain't worrying about am I finna fuck up some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he trusts me. He knows I know what I'm talking about.
It's wild that like when we look back at it, the majority of parents like just want us to be happy and like find independence or find like something within the realms of that we want to do and are able to build a life. Whatever the life is, like build a life that's better than they have had, right? And then you start to also understand it's like, bro, like our parents had us, but like they didn't like have us and know what the fuck being a parent is. Yeah. Right?
And that's the same way I look at being a father right now, bro.
Yeah.
Like people ask me this shit all the time now. They be like, bro, how is it being a dad? I'm like, bro, like this shit's different, but I fucking love it. Like my whole everything about me right now is about how can I get my son to take in everything that I'm trying to give to him without sounding like I'm just preaching to you. You know what I mean? Like for me, I felt like it was much as my dad or my parents telling me, don't do this, it's bad for you. Do this, it's good for you. It's like, how can I relate this stuff to my son to where it's like, damn, like the shit that he's telling me, it's cool to do that. It's cool to do the right thing. I don't want to do the bad shit that I'm supposed to be that I'm trying to do because my dad wouldn't do that shit, and I look up to my dad so much, and I know my dad wouldn't lead me the right way. Like I want to find out. I knew mentally my dad wouldn't tell me some shit wrong. Yeah. But it's like we were just so different. Yeah. So I want to be able to relate to my kid to where he's like, bro, my dad don't want to touch that shit. I don't want to touch that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like everything that I do now that's my thought process is how to relate this to my son to where he doesn't question it. You know what I mean? Like, how can I be the biggest influence to him to where whatever I say, he believes me and don't even question it. You know what I mean? So that's my everything that I do. That's my thought process is how am I going to relate this the right way? How's it going to be received by him? So, yeah.
And that'll be a constant shuffle and switch up.
Because I know life is going to be totally different when he's, you know what I'm saying, 17, 18 years old. Life will be totally different. And I know I'm going to be older, so I'm not going to be into the same things that he's into. Yeah. But I want to be able to still relate in a certain way.
I feel like it's one of those things that getting into just like the parenting aspect is just being able to openly communicate, right, with your seed, and also establishing a baseline with them that it's okay to speak to me about things that you may think that I feel a type of way about, or like it's okay to come talk to me even when you think I'm gonna get upset, because I feel like that's where things go awry when the children feel more comfortable to speak to their friends or some other shit, as opposed to just being like, look, my dad or mom isn't gonna like this, but I need some advice, or I fucked up. I could still talk to my parents about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like so much can be gained from just open communication. Naturally, you're giving your child your values and your thoughts along the way. But I feel like where a lot of people, where that edge comes in just being able to create an environment where open communication is truly like the baseline. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like, with me, I really respect, like openness. You know what I mean? So I feel like if my son comes to me about something that I would typically be mad about, but if he was man enough to like come to me and like, Dad, I really don't know this. Yeah. So I need you to guide me. Yeah. I just fucked up. I just did some dumb shit, but I'm trying to figure out why the fuck, you know what I mean? I still don't understand why you told me not to do this. I did it. I fucked up, but like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just want, if he comes to me like that, it's like, all right, son, this is the lesson for this. You know what I mean? Not just, oh, I told you don't do that shit. Now you're going to get an ass whooping. Like, no, like, I want you to understand this shit. You know what I mean? Instead of just like chastising about everything. I want you to understand why not to do this, and or why you shouldn't have done, or what's going to happen since you've done this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because everything, like, shit doesn't always happen immediately. You may do something that may affect you later on in life. Absolutely. So I want him to be like, hey, Dad, I fucked up. I did this. Like, my bad. And it's like, all right, son, the reason I'm telling you this shit, because this is what's going to happen now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, not just, all right, come here, let me whoop your ass and going back to your room. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's kind of how my life was. It's like, I fuck up, it's like, all right, get your ass whooped. Now you shouldn't want to do it again. You know what I mean? I don't want to raise my son like that. Not saying I ain't gonna whoop his ass. If he needs his ass, but I don't want it to be like that. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I want it to be more so I want to be an influence. I want to be like the people that I look up to, that I'm influenced by. Like, I want to be that to my son. You know what I mean? I want to be the biggest influence in his life. I don't want him to be influenced by some athlete or rapper more than me. You know what I mean? So.
I want to ask you one thing, and I feel like we've hit such incredible points, and the sun is a beautiful place to like let it ride off into the distance. In, if you were to be able to write a letter to your son, right, that he'd open up when he graduated high school. Right, thinking about the experience that you had, it's wild. Like seeing the parental differences and how you do it different, but like you wouldn't do it different unless you experienced it, right? So now you know all of these things that you want to be able to show to your son, and I feel like kind of taking this moment of like that moment when you graduated high school, and it was kind of like, holy fuck. If you were to write a letter, and naturally it's going to change as you get older, but as of right now, if you were to write a letter that your son was going to open up on the day of his high school graduation, and God, let's all pray that he's smiling and throwing his graduation hat in the sky, like doing shimmies and shit, ready for college. But what would that say?
Boy, shit, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's a tough one,
and it's gonna change. I mean, like if it comes to you, even if it's a sentence.
As of right now, I would probably have to say to remain genuine, learn the people that you're around and that you associate yourself with. Associate yourself with people that have like minds. You know what I mean? That influence. I mean, that encourage you and that you want to be like. You know what I'm saying? Like hang around those type of people, because you end up hanging around. You end up hanging around so many different people just trying to find out what's cool about this clique or what's cool about that clique until you find like your friends that y'all mesh well. So it's like just hang around genuine people, because I feel like that's what helped me a lot. Is I was around people who really cared about me. So like even when I fell off and I was fucked up, even if they were fucked up, I don't care if they were sleeping on the couch. I got a floor to sleep on. You know what I mean? You know, you got some people like, they were like, damn, you like, bro, I'm fucked up right now. Damn, bro, that fucked up. Me too.
Yeah.
It's like, I ain't got no homies like that. All my homies, they be like, shit, bro, pull up.
Yeah.
Shit, nigga, we'll sleep in the fucking car together, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like it's certain situations. Like I remember, I got some homeboys. They wanted to go to Vegas for the first time. They from Texas, and I was going out there with his brand for project, and it's a whole nother lesson inside of it. Now I'm thinking about it even more about just the type of people you hang out with and knowing this type of people you're around. Yeah. So I was going to Vegas for this project. So I'm rooming with another person from the company or whatever. But my homeboys want to come out there and like they fucked up at times. You know what I'm saying? So like one of them doesn't have an ID. The other one doesn't have a debit card. You know what I mean? It's like immature shit that I'm trying to like influence them. Like, bro, like you got to be on your shit, bro. We all grown. Like, you know what I mean? But I know that they're genuinely good people. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm rocking with them, because I know like they got my back regardless of whatever. But I'm trying to be the big brother and be like, bro, get y'all shit together in, you know what I'm saying, in this aspect. Yeah. So I go to Vegas. They was like, bro, we want to come to Vegas. I was like, all right, cool. Just get y'all shit together, get a hotel or whatever. Hotel's cheap. They was like, bro, we ain't got no card to kind of book the room with. Can we give you the cash and you book it on your card? And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be real with you right now. Y'all smoke too much weed for me, and y'all a little reckless at times. I can't do that because y'all gonna fuck up some shit that I got going on. But any other way I can help y'all out, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? But I can't let y'all fuck me over. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't trust.
I won't even put y'all in that position.
Yeah, I'm not gonna allow y'all to, you know what I'm saying, to be immature in a way that I know that y'all can be. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't judge nobody, but I just know how to deal with certain people. And I was like, in that aspect, y'all ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ready to work with y'all in that aspect. So they was like, all right, cool, bro. We understand. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. We still gonna come out there. So these cats, they really came out there, bro. And they wanted to see how I move in with the thing that I was doing. So they really came out there, bro. And they was like, all right, we got some shit figured out. So I was like, cool. So they came to the room, we was kicking it, and they was like, all right, we got to roll. So they left. And then the next morning I had woke up, I had texted them, like, see where they was at, if they gonna come through the show or whatever. And they was like, yeah, we end up sleeping in the car. We can figure out shit. I was like, damn, bro, y'all slept in the car? They was like, yeah, bro. Like, we don't care. Like, we savages. I'm like, cool. I like my nigga. So, but what I'm gonna do? Come here right now, cause the dude I was staying with had just left. I like, bro, come to the room, my nigga, and y'all can take a nap if y'all need to, take a shower or whatever in the room. Just make sure y'all out by a certain time when I know the other people gonna be back. You know what I mean? So it's like, I knew I wasn't finna put my debit card, my credit card up for them. You know what I mean? But like in any other way that I could have made it work, I was gonna make it work. Yeah, and absolutely. I feel like, and I know that they would have did the same shit for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's a responsibility thing. I've had other situations where I've had to be real with my homeboys. It's like, bruh, I know you're not mature enough in this aspect for me to feel comfortable doing certain things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, with you or whatever. And that's just me being transparent.
And that in and of itself, though, is a very strong characteristic, right? Because that's knowing yourself. Yeah. That's saying, look, I know what I want around me. Mm-hmm. I know that I really fuck with y'all and y'all are great people internally, right? But also, and just kind of like segueing, is that relationships only last when people grow together. Mm-hmm. Whether it's friendships, whether it's love, whether it's whatever, right? We could have homies that we really care about, but if they're not growing with us, they're not going to be homies. Yeah. It's just a fact of life, right?
And so you got to realize, like, ain't nobody fucking perfect, bro. Yeah. So, like, I'm saying, I don't judge nobody, bro. Like, everybody got flaws. I got fucking flaws. So, it's just like, I'm trying to help you with, you know what I'm saying, what I can help you with. Absolutely. You know what I mean? As well as they going to help me with what I need help with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, this has been an absolute pleasure. Yeah. And I'm really excited to see your continued evolution in your craft, in your being. And also, I can't wait to talk to your son when he reaches that high school point, because you better believe Uncle Nushi about to have a conversation and be like, bro, you want me to tell you what your dad was like in this fucking moment?
Oh, he's already going to be on episode,
you know what I'm saying?
1046.
Hold on. You see him crying over there like that? Imagine him in your shoes crying like that.
Hey, we got episode 1046 on hold for his son.
For real. Yeah. Q, it was an absolute pleasure. It's been a blessing to see you blossom. You're an incredible human being. And with that, I'm just gonna say, Mama, we made